I want to quickly talk to you about Lendistry, and big question is, can you get a loan, a business loan with this marketplace, this lender, and how do you actually apply to actually be approved real fast? Okay, so this will be an in-depth review of Lendistry.com. Let me first explain to you what Lendistry is, so that you can really see whether or not this lender can be actually good for you. So if you think about Lendistry, I want you to think about a national lender. So they lend in all 50 states, okay? So whether you are in New York or California or Texas or Georgia, whatever, they will take care of you, not a problem. They will actually will fund your business, okay? But Lendistry is a little different because Lendistry is actually a California-based community development financial institution. So anytime you talk about CDFI, you are speaking about a very specific type of lender, because a CDFI is a nonprofit lender that's usually either a bank or a credit union. But when it comes to Lendistry, they are actually neither nor. Okay, but they actually will give you it will give your business a loan amount that starts at $25,000. Okay, and they actually specialize in funding businesses in underserved communities. Okay, and so this is kind of cool. And so the minority-led small business lender provides various business loans and helps business owners with grant programs. So you have access to business loans, but you also have access to grants also in case you don't qualify for business loans. And the cool thing is that the repayment window is actually up to 10 years. Can you imagine? You're getting a loan and you have up to 10 years to actually pay it. So that's kind of cool because usually if you go to a traditional bank, they'll probably give you 5 years or 7 years maximum, okay? But Lendistry is giving you a maximum of 10 years. You can actually qualify from $25,000 all the way to $1 million, depending on your company's financials, because it's all about your revenue. It's all about your operational model. It's all about your cash flow. It's all about your ability to pay, like how much you can actually pay, because Lendistry actually doesn't do secured loans, so they do unsecured. So for them to actually take on that risk, they better be sure that you can repay them. So let me talk to you about the business loans that Lendistry offers this year. So you have term loans, you have non-revolving lines of credit, you have commercial real estate loans. Okay, so that's kind of cool. You have SBA loans, you have startup financing, and you have specialized funding programs. Let me dig a little deeper here. So when I say term loans actually are traditional business loans where you actually receive a large sum upfront and repay it plus interest and fixed payments, right? So with Lendistry here, you're looking at 25 million all the way to $10 million. I mean, sometimes they stop at 5 million, but they can go all the way to 10 million, depending on your business structure and your business financials. So business term loans, 25 grand to $10 million. You also have non-revolving line of credit. So basically, Lendistry's non-revolving lines of credit are between $25,000 to $5 million with terms of up to 2 years. Okay, so this is kind of cool. You also have commercial real estate loans. Here, Lendistry is actually more generous, so they can go all the way to 10 million also. But the generosity comes from the repayment window. So they're giving you all the way to 25 years to repay actually the loan, the commercial real estate loan, the CRE loan, and you can actually use the loan to take care of properties such as offices, retail spaces, mixed-use properties, industrial buildings, multifamily, and warehouses. So you have a long list of properties that do qualify. You also have SBA loans. So Lendistry is a non-bank lender participating in the SBA 7A loan program. So you have the 7A program or the 541 program also, and the maximum here is $5 million. You also have startup financing. So if you go to Lendistry and you are a startup, you can actually get a maximum of $1 million. Okay, with terms of up to 10 years. So they're not giving you 25 years. They're giving you a maximum of 10 years. And you also have through Lendistry, and that's a good thing I want you to really keep in mind. Through Lendistry, you have a specialized funding programs, okay? So you have a small business loan funds, you have airport concessions lending program, you have Amazon community lending program, you have a Colorado Climber loan fund, and you also have Colorado startup loan fund. So the cool thing is that you have all kinds of special programs to help entrepreneurs throughout the country actually get access to funding. So if you want to qualify for a loan, a business loan at Lendistry, how do you about structuring your whole application? One thing you need to understand here is that you have different loan programs at Lendistry, right? And every loan program has its own set of I would say criteria for qualification. So most of Lendistry's products require at least 2 years in business, except for their startup for the startup loan options. So you got to be in business for 2 years. Of course, revenue is always important, right? You got to really generate some revenue because otherwise, how are they going to judge your ability to repay the loan? Okay, and the only thing also is that if you have had bankruptcy in the last 3 years or defaulted on government debts, you're not going to qualify for a Lendistry. Okay, they're pretty strict on that front. Okay, and in terms of FICO score, anywhere from 550 to a 600 minimum is actually good to go. Okay, one thing for sure, when it comes to SBA loans, the requirements are actually stricter. Okay, you're not going to get a good SBA loan if your credit score is not really high like 650 at least. Okay, so one thing I also want to say here is that when it comes to Lendistry overall, their requirements, their conditions are less strict than what you would get if you were to go to a bank, your traditional bank, or a traditional credit union. Okay, so like I said, Lendistry is primarily a CDFI that actually caters to underserved communities. That's really good because it allows you to really have it allows you as an entrepreneur, if you are in those communities, to access funds. Now, I'm not saying that they only serve those communities, no, but I'm just saying that if you are part of those communities, actually reaching out to Lendistry can really help you big time. Okay, Lendistry actually is open to all kinds of borrowers. Okay, so those who are in those underserved communities or those who are outside. Okay, so what you need to understand here is that Lendistry just has a mandate, and they're trying to really go through that mandate. Okay, and one thing I want to say here is that Lendistry itself serves as an administrator, selected partner, or intermediary for several grant programs in California and New York. So in California, for instance, in terms of California grant programs, they have the Dream Fund, the Nonprofit Performance Arts, Relief Grants, Venues Grant Program, LA County Economic Development or Economic Opportunity. In New York, you have COVID-19 Small Business Recovery and New York State seed funding. So how do you apply to Lendistry this year? How do you actually make sure that you qualify? First thing first, you want to complete an application, right? Everything starts with Lendistry.com. So you can apply online or you can call the lender to apply over the phone. So Lendistry is actually pretty flexible. If for any reason you don't feel comfortable applying online, just pick up the phone and just speak to someone. And the person can actually either do it for you or they can walk you through while having you on the phone, right? So you can actually do it with the help of a rep. So that's number one. You want to complete the application. And number two, you want to provide the kind of documentation they're asking for. So they ask for all kinds of documentations like a business debt schedule, right? 2 years of business tax returns, previous 3 years for SBA loans. SBA loans are more stringent than regular loans. Okay, so you have 2 years of business tax returns. You have so it can be your 1065, your 1120S, or your 1120. And they will ask you also for your year-end business financials for the prior year. Sometimes they actually can waive that requirement, but then they will actually will ask you for your financials for this year. If you don't have actual financials, they'll ask you for projected documents, for projected numbers. Okay, so your pro forma. You might have to submit also 3 months of business bank statements. Okay, your driver's license or other government issued ID so that they can verify your identity. Your average monthly sales. So average monthly sales, there is no number, like no minimum number, but hey, listen, the higher the better. Your personal financial statement, and this is actually SBA form 413. Okay. Now, if you are a startup, you also must provide detailed projections for the first 2 years, projections for average monthly sales, personal tax returns for the previous 2 years, business tax returns actually for the last 2 years, if applicable, business bank account business bank account verification, or business bank statements for the last 3 months. Okay, and also, and this is an important element, your budget for startup costs, right? Because the startup costs are going to be around, so you better have a strategy. And then you get a decision, and then finally you get funded. So this is totally straightforward. Nothing really complicated here. So when it comes to a Lendistry, let me talk to you quickly about the pros and cons, so you have a clear idea. You have a bird's eye view of what to expect. Okay, so let's first talk about the advantages. So Lendistry actually has several advantages. As a CDFI, you have flexibility, but you also have affordability, because the underserved communities that they are targeting, they're not going to charge like crazy high APR to those communities. Okay, so Lendistry provides low-cost financing options for businesses in underserved communities. It helps keep costs down by capping the interest rate that you will be charged. Okay, so that's actually between 16 and 18%. And they actually blend traditional lending and underwriting practices with the speed and agility of online banking. So you have the best of both worlds, the best of both worlds. And so this tech forward company can approve loans within a few days, okay, and fund approved loans in 24 to 72 hours. So this is kind of cool. Now, of course, SBA loans are totally different. I mean, they take like days, if not months, for approval. So it's a different beast, if you will. And so Lendistry actually will help your business if it's in low income areas. Okay. So company, if you are a company in those areas, you may often have trouble getting approved. Okay, because lenders might consider you, let's say, high risk. Okay, this is really important. And unlike most CDFIs that only serve a specific region, this lender, Lendistry, provides funding in all 50 states. So the qualifications are typically lower than most traditional banks and credit unions. And so what are the disadvantages of Lendistry? Well, basically you have to understand that the company's qualifications are lower than traditional lenders, but there's typically higher than most online and alternative lenders. Okay. And also, Lendistry provide a lot of helpful information on its site, but getting exact cost in terms of interest rates and fees can be very difficult. It can also be challenging, and that's an important element to mention. It can be challenging to know if you qualify before applying. Okay, so this is something to really think about. So what are the pros and cons here? Let's quickly talk about the pros and cons, so we have a clear idea about what matters here. So you have a low-cost business funding options. Like I told you before, like business loans, business lines of credits, lines of credit. You have the commercial real estate loans. Okay, so you have all kinds of options. The big question is, can you transform your life? Can you transform your company's prospects through that? You got to see. Sorry about that. You got to really, let me drink some water here. Thank you. You got to really ask yourself what kind of prospects you want to have for your business. Okay, and the cool thing is that through Lendistry, you receive funding for your business if you are in underserved communities. You have lower qualifications than most banks and credit unions, They're not going to ask you like stringent paperwork. Okay, they're pretty flexible, and you have the online application actually will get you approved faster. Okay, it's available in all 50 states, so there's no geo restriction, and also you have a lender that offers SBA loans and specialized business loans. So you have all kinds of flexibility here. On the flip side, actually, if you are thinking about Lendistry and you're not in an underserved community, don't go to that lender because this is not the lender that's intended for you if you're not in those communities. Okay, so also you have limited information on rates and exact qualifications, higher qualifications than most alternative lenders, and they don't provide alternative lending solutions. So this is something to really think about. One thing you need to understand here is that Lendistry actually has been around for a while now. Okay, so are they legit? Yes, they're definitely legit. Okay, this company has been around for a while, and the cool thing I love is that they are actually are well reviewed on the most important review websites. Okay, so Trustpilot, AAA, I mean AAA, Triple B, Better Business Bureau, Trustpilot, Trust Radius, okay, SatJabber, and so on and so forth. And also, one thing I want to say here is that you have ratings that actually are around 4.8 out of 5. So that's really good. And from thousands of reviews, okay. And actually, their process is really fast. What entrepreneurs love is the fact that you are getting approved really fast, but also you get your cash in a way that doesn't ask for so many conditions. Okay, but for any reason, if you do not get qualified, let's say through Lendistry, you can also try other lenders. You can even try other CDFIs. You can try other loan marketplaces. You can try other direct lenders. Okay, so you have all kinds of possibilities. It really all depends on what's important for you and what's not important. So you have business term loans, you have business lines of credit, you have SBA loans. Again, the product that you end up getting will depend on your specific situation and what's important for you. And one thing I want to say here is that if Lendistry actually denies your application, you have to understand that first of all, you have to really look at the denial letter that they send you, and based on that, you will know whether you want to apply right away by fixing let's say like if they deny you, that's because they probably saw something, right? So in the denial letter, you just want to make sure that you fix whatever they actually caught, and then you take it from there because that's how you increase your chances of being approved the next time. So this is really important. So in conclusion to this conversation, I spoke to you about Lendistry. This was an in-depth review of the platform. I explained what Lendistry is, what kind of business loans they offer, how do you qualify for Lendistry, okay? How do you apply? What are the pros and cons? Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.